twofold question. One of your interviews is with Howard Zinn.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what your impressions of him. And I also wondered if you've ever been interviewed by or met Amy Goodwin.
Yes, I do know Amy Goodwin. I think her show is excellent. If you all don't get it, it's called Democracy Now! It's every day. It's not on television, but you can get it.
It is on television, but it's on satellite or something.
Yeah, satellite television, but it's also on the radio.
Yes.
WBAI, 8 o'clock in the morning out of New York, but it's also on the internet. You just go and Google democracynow.org.
And that'll bring you.
And it'll bring it up. She just does a terrific hour broadcast. And she interviewed me 2 weeks ago, and it's going to air this week. I have a great deal of respect for her. She's got a huge audience around the world because she's basically an internet journalist, and the internet goes everywhere. I mean, the other night after I was on Stewart, I went home and was checking my emails, and they popped up from Mallorca and Canberra, Australia, and that's streaming video. It's amazing. It's a great boon for us journalists because it expands our audience these days. But Howard Zinn was one of my favorite historians. His book, The People's History of the United States, is history from the groundhog view, from ordinary people's view, from people like us. It's not the story of great heroes, which is a legitimate story, or the founders. It's the story of ordinary people who fought to make changes when we, in previous periods, were oligarchic in nature. The period between the Civil War and 1912, when Teddy Roosevelt had been president, that was a period in which great wealth accumulated to Carnegie and Vanderbilt and Mellon and all of those people, and workers and ordinary people, farmers, small independent business people were crushed by the great wealth of Wall Street and capital in that time. And it took labor unions, women, others to organize. And that was Zinn's view of history, that don't expect your leaders to do anything that you don't press them to do. That they are subjected to the forces, as we were talking about, of wealth and power, and only if they are threatened from below by organized people do they ever do the right thing. So Zinn's philosophy was, you be a history maker. You be a history maker. You get involved. Engage the powers that be. And I love that message. At key moments in our history, that's how America has become America. Whether it was the long civil rights struggle, 250 years, women's suffrage. It took women 100 years to get the right to vote. Unions had to fight and bleed for the right to organize. That's the story. We tend to settle into complacency in the face of the great concentrations of power until finally we've had enough and we rise up. There's no guarantee that, and I think we need an uprising now, peaceful, nonviolent, but there's no guarantee it will succeed. But I think money is so ascendant and dominant, and apathy is so widespread, and in no small part because we're entertained to death, you know, that the next one may not happen. But if we don't have one, I think that we will lose the essence of democracy.